Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today, as the title says, I'm going to be talking about how to stop calorie counting and also a bit about how to face fear foods. So this video has been a long time coming. I get asked on a regular basis how I stopped counting calories, how to find food freedom and balance, and I have written a bunch of different blog posts about how to stop calorie counting and what I did to stop, so I would link all of those below. But I thought it was about time I also made a video talking about this and giving my advice. It's easier to just refer you all to this video then. I mean, I really wish that I didn't have to make this video. I wish that the goal would be that nobody struggled with obsessive calorie counting, but unfortunately this is a topic that many do need advice and help on. So yeah, I thought I would quickly talk about my own background for those of you who don't know. So between the years of about 2008 to 2012, 2013, I struggled with anorexia, among other things. Anxiety, depression, over-exercising, purging, even struggled with binge eating, all of that. So during that time I also developed obsessive calorie counting, and if I'm honest, I don't even know how it started, because when I got sick I had no idea what calories was. Food was either tasty or untasty, like either I liked the food or I didn't, that was it. Calories is not something we learned about in school, which of course I'm thankful for, but I guess I just started reading the nutritional value on food and realised that calories was bad in my mind. So for me, suddenly when I got sick, all I could see was numbers. Food was just numbers. It wasn't whether I liked the food or it was tasty or whatever. It was like, this food has X amount of calories and this is Y amount of calories. But back then I wasn't aware of what calories was either. Like, calories is energy. Your body needs calories to function. Your organs, your brain, without calories, your organs aren't going to work as they should. Your body needs energy and calories. Back then I didn't even know how much is a lot of calories. I didn't know that, like, my body needed 2,000 or more than 2,000 calories a day to be healthy. But back then, like 100 calories was a lot. I would freak out. Whereas now, when I know about calories, I know what they are. Calories aren't bad or unhealthy or anything like that. Then I know that like a 500, 600, 700 calorie lunch is just normal. That's what my body needs. But back then, of course, I didn't know that. Calories was equal to bad. Calories was equal to weight gain. So between about 2009 to like 2012, I was controlled by my eating disorder and was obsessed with calories. My food choices were based on calories, what was the lowest calories, and not on what I liked. So how do you go from that to being able to eat whatever you want without caring about calories? Also want to put a side note for those of you who don't know, I do have my bachelor's in health promotion and nutrition and currently studying my master's in nutrition. So I have, for my work and for school assignments, I have had to count calories, make meal plans, when we've done sports nutrition, all of that. And I've also filmed some videos when I've counted calories and things like that, but for me it doesn't bother me anymore, because food is not numbers, and like eating a meal that's 500 calories doesn't bother me because it's like my mind has changed. Yeah. Just want to put that side note that going from someone who was completely controlled by calories and counted like the smallest thing, like a quarter of an apple, I would freak out, and I would sit at a restaurant or a cafe or wherever I was and I would look at what others were eating and I would count the calories of their meal and think, how are they eating so much? I could never do that. Or how are they eating a piece of cake without freaking out? I don't understand it. And then going from that to now, just like eating freely. So I thought I would give some advice and tips for what helped me, and just some general advice when trying to stop counting calories or overcoming fear foods. And of course it's very individual what will work, based on, you know, do you live alone? Do you live with friends or family or a partner? How many meals do you eat alone? Do you eat out a lot? Your lifestyle, all of that. So what helps will of course depend on your life and your life situation. But yeah, it is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And just like with all information, the knowledge about calories and calories in a certain meal or food doesn't just go away. However, it begins to fade and eventually you don't care. It's a bit like with, think about all the information you have learned in school, all the years you've been in school. You don't remember all the information you have learned. You just remember certain information which maybe you still use or useful in your everyday life, but the information which isn't so relevant to you, you pretty much forget it, or it's back there. And the same goes with calories. The less you focus on them, the less space they take up in your mind, the more it will lessen, and it won't be the first thing on your mind when you see or think about food. So it's about that process of beginning to see food as food again, beginning to see food as tasty, and then the numbers will begin to fade. Even if the knowledge may always be there, you learn to not let it give you anxiety. Some tips and advice from me. The first, of course, is to get rid of any calorie counting app you have on your phone. And if you have a Fitbit or Polar Watch or whatever, don't wear it. Of course, if you use that as a clock, then it might be difficult, but then you just have to try to not let yourself look at the calories that you have burned. Preferably, it'd be best to just not wear it at all. And it may be difficult, especially if you're used to tracking your food every day or always counting calories or looking at the amount of calories you've burned, but you kind of have to do it to get your mind off of calories, to get your mind off of tracking food. You have to not give yourself the chance to do it, if that makes sense. It's a bit like, you know, if you're addicted to alcohol or drugs, you can't have it at home because it's always going to be there tempting you. And the same goes if you have a calorie counting app on your mobile. Of course you're going to go into it, so you have to get rid of it so it doesn't tempt you. Also, to stop reading the nutritional value and the calories on food, especially when it comes to buying new foods. It can be easy, it might be your first instinct, you know, you see a food, you might want to buy it or try it, and you grab it, you look at the nutritional value, and then, you know, your mind will tell you it's too much sugar or whatever, and you put it back and you don't try it, even if you actually want to try it, you wanted to eat it. So don't even look at the nutritional value. What you have to do is ask yourself, do I want to eat this? Do I want to try this? Does it look tasty? The answer is yes. Then you buy it, regardless of the calories. And if you live with friends or family, it can be a good idea to tell them that if they see you reading nutritional value of food, then they can intervene, they can stop you. You might get angry at them, I know. I used to get angry at my sister and family that whenever they told me to not read the nutritional value of food, but it has to be done. Sometimes it's hard to be your own police. You have to have someone else there telling you to stop. And to stop counting calories, you have to stop seeing food as numbers. And as I said, it's not always easy. It doesn't happen overnight. But the first step is to stop labeling food. Food is not good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, clean or unclean. Food is food, and when you stop labeling food as good or bad, it can be easier to just eat because it's just food. When you give food labels, then you also put your self-worth in it. If you eat something bad, then you're a bad person. If you eat something unhealthy, you're an unhealthy person, when it doesn't work that way. Food you eat doesn't make you a bad person or a good person. Also, when you want to stop counting calories, you have to start being honest with yourself. When you're going to eat, ask yourself, do I want to eat this food? Is this the food I want to eat? Example, maybe you want a pasta salad, but instead you make yourself zucchini noodles because that's low in calories. But it's not actually what you want, you feel unsatisfied. Find food balance and stop counting calories. You have to start making your food choices based on what you want to eat, what you like. Your food choices cannot be defined by what is lowest in calories or what you deem as the healthiest, but instead you have to start making food choices based on what you actually want to eat. And it's a process. It's about just being honest with yourself, because you can tell others that you love 0-calorie noodles and 0-calorie sauce, but deep down inside I think you know that you don't, and you would rather want something more satisfying, something more delicious. Or maybe because you've eaten zoodles and 0-calorie noodles for so long, you've convinced yourself that you like them. But give yourself the chance to eat something else, try something else, and you might just realize that no, you don't actually like them, it's just that you've gotten used to eating them. You also have to start thinking rationally. What does it matter if you eat 40 grams of cereal or 50 grams of cereal? What does it actually matter? Your brain might go to, I'll gain weight, I'll become unhealthy, I'll gain fat, or whatever. That might be your eating disorder quickly, telling you that. But then you have to be rational, and you have to ask yourself, what does it matter if I gain weight? Will I actually gain weight because I ate 10 grams more cereal than usual? And what does it matter? And combined with this, it might be a good idea to get rid of your weight scale if you have it, or weighing scale, because I don't think you should be weighing yourself, not when trying to find food freedom and stop calorie counting, because the number on the scale doesn't matter. Just like you should most likely get rid of your weighing scale for food as well, unless you need it for baking, but otherwise you shouldn't be weighing your food or measuring it. Instead, planing out your food based on the amount you want and need to eat, not based on numbers. And just like with the calorie counting app, out of sight, out of mind, hopefully. Sometimes it can be easier to face fear foods when you are out with others. So the next time you go out to eat, I would recommend that you make the food choice, based on what you want to eat, not based on what is lowest in calories. So when you're looking at the menu, honestly ask yourself, what is it that I want to eat right now? Regardless of calories, regardless of what you've just eaten, regardless of what you might eat later, what do I want to eat right now? And then order that. And of course it can be easier to do it when you're around with others, hopefully others that just eat what they want to eat, who have a healthy approach to food. If you're surrounded by people who always track their food or always eat salad or track the calories or that, it's very hard to break free from it yourself when you're surrounded by people who basically do the thing you're trying to not do anymore. And then distractions after eating a meal, which maybe gives you anxiety, or a meal you haven't tracked or you don't know the calories of. If you're out and about, maybe you can just sit with others for a while. For me personally, when I was facing my fear foods and eating foods that weren't tracked, then I would just have to sit and kind of breathe 30 to 60 minutes, always having someone close by to me so I couldn't purge or exercise. And if I was out in town, it would be helpful to just kind of walk around, walk in stores. I would have this battle going on in my mind. I would be freaking out, anxiety, panic, all of that, but it would help to just have someone near me or do something so that I couldn't freak out basically, or so that I couldn't compensate in some way. Of course, it's harder when you are on your own. Maybe you're choosing to eat pasta instead of zoodles and you're at home. It might be more difficult then to distract yourself from the anxiety, or to stop yourself from counting calories in your mind. But then it can be good to have a coping strategy or distraction planned already. So maybe you leave the house after you've eaten the meal, or maybe you have a school assignment, or you have some work you can do, or a hobby. And for me personally, I always had to do something with my hands, or something that got my brain distracted from the anxiety. I couldn't just watch a film or a series afterwards because my mind would just wander to calories. So distractions, being around others. Then of course, it can be that the anxiety and beginning to count calories from what you've eaten during the day can hit you during the night. That was always what happened to me. Like, I could be successful in eating meals that weren't tracked, or eat fear foods, but then when I was lying in bed at night, that was when I would freak out. I would begin thinking about what am I eating during the day, all of that. It's hard to give advice on this because it's in your mind, but what you have to do then is to pull yourself out of that spiral of calorie counting and think about something else. That is the only way to do it. The more you think about calories, the more space it will take up in your mind and your thoughts. So instead you have to, like, even if it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, you have to do something else. Can you read a book? Can you begin journaling? Can you listen to a podcast? Can you do something that gets you thinking about other things? Can you write a list of why you shouldn't count calories? Something that distracts you and gets your thoughts on other things. That is the only way. Another tip is to begin focusing on things in life that you want to do, things that give you energy, things you enjoy. Because when you're counting calories and obsessed with food and counting calories, it takes up so much of your time, so much of your focus. Think about all that time, energy, focus you could spend on doing something else. Like, you could have finished a project, you could have been out with friends, you could have been excelling in your career or school. But no, you've spent that counting calories. All that time, all that energy, all that focus, it has gone to numbers. And what has that given you? Nothing. It doesn't give you anything positive. Whereas you could spend that time on doing something you enjoy. Because when you're counting calories and all of that, you're not really present in life either. You could be sitting eating food with others, but all you're doing is looking at what others are eating and counting the calories of their meals, and you're planning about what am I going to eat next, how many calories am I allowed to eat, what can I not eat, and all of that. And it is time and energy that is spent on a very bad thing. It doesn't give you anything. So focus on what you want to do, what you enjoy doing, your hobbies, are there projects you want to work on, and begin putting your time, energy and focus on that. And also, when you begin being around people who give you energy and who are healthy and inspiring, it's easier to focus on life, on living, on being present in life, rather than just sitting and counting calories or letting food take up your whole life. So you have to begin focusing on life. Like, that is one of the best tips. And of course it's hard because not everyone has a lot of friends. Some people have small groups of friends, like myself. Not everyone has the opportunity to go and be social all the time to help them overcome their counting calories. But then maybe you have hobbies, or you have projects, or you have work or school or something that you can focus your time and energy on instead. Because when life begins to take up more of your time, you don't have time for your illness. And that is kind of one of the things that helped me in recovery, to begin focusing on my goals, my dreams, life, and realizing that I cannot let my illness, I cannot let these thoughts take up my whole life, because I'm just surviving, I'm not living. The thing you have to remember is that it is only you who can make the changes. It is only you who can recover and get better. To overcome calorie counting, to overcome fear foods, to find balance with food, you have to begin facing your fears. Unless you face them, they're going to continue to control your life. To be able to eat food freely, to be able to find food balance, you have to begin eating more intuitively. Begin trying to trust your body. At the start, it might just be that you eat a snack without weighing it, or maybe you plate your lunch without precisely tracking or measuring your food. It's all these small things which add up. At first it's a snack, then it's both snack and lunch, and then maybe you can eat something more spontaneously without tracking it. And like I said before, you have to begin getting rational with yourself. What does it matter if I eat more? My body needs calories, my body needs energy. For me to be able to live life, to function, to be able to do all the things I want to do, I need to eat. Your body is smart, it will balance itself out. If you eat more, you might eat less another day. But you shouldn't consciously restrict just because you've eaten more one day. That will result in a restricting and overeating or binging cycle, which can be very hard to break. So you just kind of have to try to trust your body, even if that's not always possible. I'll get into intuitive eating and trusting your body in another video. Asking yourself, okay, so what if I eat more? So what if I gain weight? I'm also going to be gaining my life back, gaining energy, having time to actually do other things, and that is so much more worth it. And you may not even gain weight, and if you do, it really doesn't matter. I promise you that. Finding food balance, breaking free from calories or calorie counting is so much more worth it. Ask yourself, do I want to eat this food? Do I like this food? And if the answer is yes, eat it. That's the only way, kind of. Not basing your food on, or not basing your food choices on calories. And of course it's easier said than done. I can sit here several years later and talk about not counting calories, but I know that when I was in it, I never thought it was possible. I never thought I'd be able to eat a meal without tracking it, without calorie counting, without counting the calories of it. I never thought I would reach this stage, and there's no magic pill you can take. It doesn't happen overnight, but all these small tips and advice which I've said, they add up and they will help you. It all starts from you. It is you who has to do the hard work, but know that it is worth it. Before this video gets any longer, I will end it here, and I will link the blog posts I've written down below. That might be helpful, and of course I can try to make a part 2 or talk about how I stopped over exercising. I'll make a video eventually about intuitive eating, finding food freedom, all of that, but once again it is individual and it's a process for all of these things. It's about focusing on life, kind of, and just being rational, because I think deep down inside you also know what you need to do to get better. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. I will try my best to answer it and trying to get back into YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. Itsahealthylifestyle on Instagram, and my blog itsahealthylifestyle.org. I will see you all next week with a new video.